Hello and welcome to Cardboard Decoy's Backlog, in which we play Reus. Reus was it was a really cool indie gem from at least a year ago. Man, time flies. I'm trying to think. PAX is coming up, and I talked to the developers at the last PAX. I had a nice little chat with them because I was really enamored with this game at the time, and I put a decent amount of time into it, and I really got a kick out of it. So now I want to play it again. This is something I hem and haw about making a series on, because there's parts of it that I think are very seriesable, and then there are other parts where I'm just sort of like, I don't know. I get super salty about this game. There are parts, like the guy I talked to specifically, I wish I could remember his name, but he said, I'm the one who's responsible for the AI where the villages attack each other, and I was like, you bastard. And he laughed, and he was just like, "Oh, what? No, it's a really good motivator for the game." I'm like, "You're not wrong. You're just a bastard." Q dude meme and all of that. Hey, I just noticed this camera moves just slightly. I like little touches like this. These are kind of things that fascinate me in my childlike wonder sort of way, says the 30-year-old guy. Anyways, let's see. What can I say about this game? It's sort of a city builder. It's more of a strategy puzzle city builder. There's a lot of dynamics in this game that you have to pay attention to. And it's the sort of thing that like kept me up at night for a while, and I never quite got the hang of it, and I just sort of was like, whatever, I'm going to move on, right? I do this quite a bit, especially once you have a certain level of Steam backlog. You don't have a lot of options except to just continue playing, or else you'd never make it through, and it is also kind of a really sad excuse as far as I'm concerned, and it makes me a little sad. But that's getting a little bit off topic. Yes, so strategy city builder, you play as a god who has 4 elemental helpers who help craft your world, and you have to kind of manage life on your world and civilization, and it's neat. So, rather than talk about it, let's go ahead and do it. So time limit, yes, you end up playing fairly long games. I probably won't finish this game anyways. I just want to get the basics done, and we'll go ahead and go now. Yep. Okay. Villagers become greedy. Yes, the awe mechanic. The awe mechanic. So, let's see. Whenever you start a game, you're given goals to try to reach for. And this is fairly far on into the game. So, finish the 3rd era with at least 1 upgraded. Great project. Finish an era with 200 food in use from, or 2,000 food in use from villages. Finish an era with 2,000 wealth from villages. This is not how you start out. Usually you only start out with a 30-minute game, and so we probably won't see much past what a normal 30-minute game would have. But yeah, I've got quite a number of achievements. Yeah, there's all these other ones. And these are all very much so kind of late-game achievements that are unbelievably frustrating, to say the least. Okay, let me try to... I gotta remember the controls here. Okay, we can zoom out. Right-click does nothing. Here's our helpers. What we want them to do is go through and create terrain that is favorable for our civilizations. So, for instance, we can get him, our crabman here, to create an ocean. And if we do that, he does a really cool animation. And he makes an ocean. Like, I don't know what I freaking expected, right? Okay, and so now what we can do, we have now wet ground next to the ocean versus dry ground. And we need that because we can't plant a forest here. We can kind of plant it here. You get that yellow marker that basically says, you're being kind of silly. Don't do that there. Or we can plant it right next to the coast where we get the maximum effect out of it. And likewise, the swamp, our swamp god, demigod, whatever you want to call them, does the same. He has also required that. Now, we do have a mountain guy here who can create a mountain. And you see this patch is very small, but once you plant it, deserts are going to spring up. And deserts are super vital, naturally. And you want to kind of have to, or you kind of want to max it out as much as you can. You know what? That's right. It doesn't actually overlap with other terrain. So we're just going to put the mountain right there, which can be useful. And so now we have this very much so usable terrain. And this symbol up here shows us that we have a nomad somewhere looking to settle. So now what we want to do is create a place where people want to settle into. Now each one of our guys has the ability to create herbs and animals. This guy can do animals, and that's about it. And then this guy can do plants. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so he does do herbs and animals. It's been a while. Domestic animals, fruit plant, and then over here, our mountain guy can place precious minerals and advanced minerals. So what we want to do is create a situation where we are able to get some food going for our civilization to take advantage of. So here we go. He's going to set some fish down, which actually creates quite a bit of food and an AoE sort of effect. Since it's in the water and you can't have a civilization in the water, you need it to spread out a little bit. Well, I say that, but you can have harbor towns. There we go. And I don't know if you saw it. There was a couple frames of a little guy showing up right there. And we have a village. So there we go. No war marks. The village is currently peaceful. The danger at this level, there's no threat to the village. You have all these little stats here that are necessary. So we have 2 out of 9 food. Now, give me a second while I try to remember here. Yes, granary challenge. Okay, so this is what happens. A granary is being built for peaceful farmers and gatherers. Food in use, 3 out of 30. Animal husbandry, plus 15 food for each animal within borders, stacks up to 3 times. And forest, Fort Peak. Oh, that's information on the tile it's actually on. So, these little challenges pop up in your villages, and basically what that means is if you can meet the objective, which is 30 food, before the time runs out, which we had 10 minutes, and I've spent 30 seconds of it talking, we will get this bonus, which is plus 15 food for each animal within borders. A new nomad is roaming the planet looking for a place to settle a new village. Make a nice place to settle with some natural resources. If you don't make a nice place, the nomad might end up settling close to another village rivaling your resources. So, we need to go ahead and set something down for him. This is where the game starts getting a little crazy, because we need to multitask. Multitasking is super important. Oh, by the way, here's a mountain. There's our desert terrain. We can now put resources in our desert terrain, and all will be well. So let's go ahead and focus on creating food here. Now, this is an animal bonus, so we want to go ahead and try to place as many animals as we possibly can. And that will go a very long way into not only helping us meet the needs of our people here, but also it will create a benefit later on with our bonus that we'll get from this. So once again, plus 15 food for each animal within borders. So if we put 2 animals here, then they'll get an extra 15 food and allow them to grow even further. So let's see, Mountain Lodge Challenge has started. So we go over here, and we have a Mountain Lodge. Food in use. This village may making a mountain lodge where they can relax in the mountains. Specialization. Tourists, plus 15 wealth for each village. Whoa, interesting. Okay. So we need 10 food, 20 wealth, 10 technology, and 15 natura. Ooh, Jesus. Not demanding in the least. So this is actually a pretty complicated one I wasn't expecting. So what we're going to do is try to create some wealth and science first. And then we'll worry about the other ones. We'll go back over here. Oh yeah, that's right. So I'm being shocked by the fish spreading out over the area, but that's actually what all animals do. Oh, as you can see, just then this area expanded out a little bit. So the more resources a village has available to it, the more it'll also kind of expand its borders. So, and this is also okay. So 11 out of 15 means now it's 35. They have 35 possible food that they need to take advantage of, and the determinations on that are basically just over time your village will start taking more and more use of the resources that are given to it, and then yeah, it'll slowly catch up to the total possible number. Since we only need 30 for this, we're good. These guys, however, they need how much wealth? We need 20 wealth, so we've got that taken care of. We need 10 technology, got that taken care of. Need more food, so we're going to go ahead and do no, exotic animals are going to be money. We don't need that necessarily. However, if we do a fruit plant over here, this should... Oh, are these both peppermint? Did I mess this up? I might have messed this up. Look at me. Being a goof. Alright, let's cancel that. You're going to move over here. We're going to hopefully see these borders expand. And then I can do a leaf aspect. Actually, you know what? I can go ahead and do that here. Yeah, there we go. We expanded. We're going to add some food here. Alright, so that gave us an elderberry. So, tomato transmutes with a lesser leaf aspect or better. And then, same thing with pineapple. That's fruit aspect, so totally different. And, so if we use leaf aspect on this, it'll turn this food into tomatoes. And then we get a little bit of science with the tomatoes and some extra natura. So, there we go. We've got all that taken care of. We need to make sure we have 10 food. So we'll have to go ahead and summon some domesticated animals over here because they'll overlap a little. Or, alternatively, since we only need 10 research, we can get rid of that and grow another fruit plant. Let's see, do I have any other aspects right now? No, I just have the leaf aspect. So there's sort of an evolution tech tree involved in all of this that allows you to sort of get to different levels of specialization. So again, for rabbits, if we transmute with a lesser herd aspect, or these are chickens, if we transmute with a lesser herd aspect, we'll get a rabbit. If we do a lesser hunt aspect, we will get a beaver. And so we'll get wealth and natura or food, and they have specific bonuses for, let's see, oh, free range, +3 food if a blueberry is within animal range. So if we make some blueberries somewhere near here, they'll get +3 food. Ah, here we go. So we finished the granary, and I'll get to that in a second after I'm done here. And then rabbits, more food if close to other rabbits. So if we just build a bunch of rabbits, they'll just make tons of food because rabbits. And then give more wealth and more natura. There is within... give more wealth, the more natura there is within their animal range. Okay, so we'd have to kind of manipulate our natura there. All right, tomato. Gain extra technology with the amount of food on their patches increase. So if we put animals around these tomatoes, we'll actually get more technology. So actually putting animals down wouldn't be a bad idea if we have a whole lot of tomatoes set up. So yeah, these are kind of the dynamics I was talking about, and it gets absurdly complicated. So we have a forest ambassador. Now every time you finish one of these lodges, special projects, whatever you want to call them, you will get an ambassador for that type of town. So we have swamp towns, we have mountain towns. Well, no, we don't have mountain towns, just desert, swamp, and forest. And then we can look and see with... down here on our unlock panel, they have options. So unlocks with a forest ambassador, crystal aspect. So if we need a crystal aspect, it upgrades a mineral with a crystal aspect, adds wealth and awe. Awe is very useful, and hopefully we don't necessarily have to get too far into it, but it keeps your cities from rebelling. So the more you see this greed meter here, he's got 1 greed because we gave them a very high max value of resources, and since they're constantly gaining resources, they're going to get more and more greedy. Now it's gone away because the resources have kind of evened out there a little bit. But if you go too high and add an advancement that adds like hundreds of food, then they'll get greedy super quickly as that growth continues. And then you have problems, and then they start fighting each other. And then it gets really bad because dying towns means no more ambassadors and a much slower rate of accrual of points and other achievements, which is your primary motivator in this game. So you want to kind of avoid that, and you can do that with awe. And since we're probably not going to get too far into the awe tree here, we're not going to worry about it too much. But, you know, just for a holistic sense of what goes on. Oh, now we have a swamp ambassador as well. So let's see. Swamp Giant unleashes a reaction aspect which upgrades mineral. Now that is actually really good for our minerals because it adds a lot of tech to things. So we'll have the Swamp Giant go pick up that ambassador. And then, let's see, with a Desert Ambassador, level 2, what is this? Leaf Aspect adds Technology and Natura. Potent Leaf Aspect requires 1 Swamp and 1 Any Ambassador. Okay, 1 Swamp, 1 Forest, or 1 Any Ambassador. Let's see, this guy, Exotic, Forest, Desert, Swamp. Rock Giant unleashes a Seismic Aspect, which upgrades minerals and adds Tech and Awe, so kind of the same as the Crystal Aspect. And then Swamp Ambassador here, and this is Herd Aspect, so this will upgrade our bunnies. And since we've got kind of a food thing going on, we'll give the Swamp Ambassador, or whenever I say food thing, I mean sort of an animal food thing over here. We'll go ahead and give the Swamp Ambassador to our Water Giant here. Then we'll take this guy, we'll do a reaction aspect on this mineral, and that should, I believe, turn it into... lesser sight. Oh no, I can't change it with that. It must be the advanced minerals. Okay, so I'm thinking of something else entirely. Don't mind me. Let's go ahead and we will do advanced minerals here. We're going to add another domestic animal over here. And then we'll turn this into rabbits and see this bonus in action. So, yeah, once again, lesser herd aspect. And then as you level them up, you get greater aspects, which, let's see, can create greater aspects. I believe it just increases your chance of doing those aspects. They're still kind of random, so it's kind of a trial and error, multiple tries kind of situation, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, here we go. Crystal aspect, lesser reaction aspect, or a lesser seismic aspect. So, and then we get copper and give a very large amount of tech, especially if animals are nearby. So, once again, if we have tomatoes and this, and then we put an animal in between, that'll give bonuses to both of them. So, yes, that would be the ideal situation there. Let's go ahead and we are going to start with this. This guy just added some more animals over here, so we're going to do herd aspect. And that's going to transform these guys into little rabbits. Oh. Did we get rabbits? Did we? Did I do it right? Oh, now I can do it. I just gave it the aspect, so I have to actually actively cause it to turn into a rabbit. So there we go. We've got rabbits there. We've already got pretty decent food. Let's see what the jump does whenever we do this over here. So remember these numbers. 3331 becomes 8884. So you see how that progression works. So, yeah, that's also where greed comes from, because you start messing around with those and you're like, oh yeah, if I just do this, it's no big deal. But it's a very slow, progressive sort of game in that sense. So, potent herd aspect, and I can have deer. Deer give food and do great if they can eat small herbs. So we'd want to plant herbs next to deer if we upgrade them, or we can leave them to rabbits for right now. Either way, very, very good stuff. We'll go ahead and add this here. Oh, wait. Yeah. Let me see. That becomes tomatoes. We want to replace that. We'll do a... Oh, is that going to work? Yeah. So we want tomatoes. Lesser growth aspect. Oh, okay. Okay. Lesser leaf aspect. That's right. I put fruit there. That's peppermint. That's elderberry. So what we want to do is actually plant fruit here. Oh, what happened here? What did I do? Let's go. These guys. We want animals there. We'll do leaf aspect here. This will turn into, so, like that, healthy. Plus 5 tech for each 1 food on this patch. So if we increase the food, we get more and more tech as we go. So now we have 4. And then we take this, turn it into copper, and it goes from 1 in 15 to... Oh, 1 in 25. So we have a ton of tech here. And now we have a new challenge. And this is kind of how it cycles. So we're upgrading this now, and we need 100 food. We actually have more than enough to get that. And then we need 40 technology. So our next challenge would be, how do we make technology work? So we can turn these guys into deer, assuming we could get a greater herd aspect and then just put herbs and upgrade those herbs to work with the animals and so on and so forth. So you get kind of the idea. That's roughly how it works. These guys are getting pretty greedy though, because those rabbits are absolutely multiplying at to a great degree and causing them to fall victim to their own hubris. So we'd have to deal with that by ignoring them basically and then focusing on another town for a while. And we have another nomad, so you know, the cycle continues. This is basically the entire game right here. And now we'd want to start as a desert town to get that nomad taken care of. And, yeah. So I got brutally addicted to this game. Just completely consumed by this game because of it. Of these interactions and the dynamics and trying to upgrade everything and reaching these otherwise just unbelievably difficult goals. Like, we're talking finish the 3rd era with at least 1 upgraded great project, which is just thousands of food. Like, the one I remember doing last was like 3,000 food. So, and I mean, cities don't, there's kind of a diminishing returns aspect to city growth. So you see it's gotten this big and it's going to expand further, but it's going to go slower and slower as you go. So you have a limited amount of space to work with and maximize all of your upgrades and know exactly what upgrades into what with what aspects, and still be able to have all of the ambassadors you need to get to those aspects to do that upgrading. And it's just, oh my goodness, it's a logical tangle in the worst way. And here we go. Now we have a desert town. Trade post. What do we need for the trade post? Village wants to build and maintain a trade post, and we need more wealth. And pelt traders, plus 15 wealth for each animals within borders. So, one last thing, we can do exotic animals, and exotic animals are like our food animals, except with money. So, they'll spread out everywhere, they'll generate a ton of gold, and then they have their own dynamics to go through. So you can see just how devilishly tangled this game is, and how much of a puzzle and strategy game that it really is. And it's a lot of fun. Like, if you are into this sort of thing, like if you want a puzzle that is not only time-based, but also just ridiculously complicated. Hey, look at that. Are we already getting a bonus for that? For each animal? Yeah, we're already getting a bonus for it even before it's completed, just to give us an upper hand here. So now we almost have enough money. We actually don't quite have enough, so we'd want to wait around. Let's, do we have a +8 tech if next to stone? Tech if next to stone? I don't remember how to make stone, really. I think, is that an advanced mineral? It might be an advanced mineral. I can't remember at the moment. If next to another quartz, what do these guys do? +3 wealth if next to a plant. So we could just set down some herbs, and then that'll give these guys the wealth that they need to push this over 30. So, there we go. Oh my god, it's happening again. The game wants me. There we go, and now we have 37 gold. That red line there not only indicates that they're very quickly gathering wealth, but also greed as they go along. So these guys are fine. They're pretty neutral at the moment. Not a big deal. These guys... oh, I need technology over here. I almost totally forgot. Oh, well, I don't care that much because I'm going to abandon this game right afterwards. So yeah, there you go. This is Reus. It's brilliant. It's extremely brilliant, not only in its simplicity, but also in its complexity. By that same token, it's simple in premise, but complex in execution, and it's absolutely glorious. If you haven't played it yet or heard of it, please, please, please go out there, do what you can to get your hands on this game and play the hell out of it, and naturally support the developers. I don't want that to turn into a, you know, if you have to steal it, steal it. No, that is not what I'm saying at all. You should absolutely support the developers in this endeavor, and because they're brilliant. They're brilliant, wonderful people, and they're really fun to talk to if you get a chance to talk to them. So, yeah, this has been Cardboard Decoy, looking at his backlog of games, this one in particular being Reus. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have fun.